Morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday. It is the 19th day of October 2023. We are about 7 days from the start of the regular season. Thank goodness for that. We'll talk about that in a minute. I hope you're all safe and healthy. I hope your family is safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, who along with the first responders are out here every day saving lives, and those that pick up garbage for us, keep our streets and sidewalks and cities clean and disease free, and those that make deliveries of mail and food and water for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. The victims also of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography and child pornography, human trafficking and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators of these things. Double curses on all those who profit off of these things. And double curses on all the perverts that create the demand for this industry. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 people, and increasingly senior citizens over 65, are living in the streets of the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So last night, there was a basketball game at Madison Square Garden. And to be quite honest with you, I was comforted by the fact that it's a preseason game. If this had been a regular season game, once the Knicks had cut the lead that was over 17 down to 2, and then let it go bloom back up again in the fourth quarter, 17, I would have turned the TV off at that point if it was a regular season game. But I was comforted in that it's a preseason game and it doesn't count. They played terribly last night. The continuity that I've been continually talking about will come into play. You wouldn't have known it by looking at the team last night. Number one, the starting unit acted as if they never played together before. There was a lot of bad passes, a lot of turnovers, especially from the main people. When you look at the overall turnovers, there were 15 turnovers by the Knicks, which is too much. But you're talking about 5 from Brunson, 4 from Josh Hart, okay? And then somebody had 3, I forgot who, but those 2 guys contributed. DiVincenzo, they only credited him with 2. Looked like he had more than that to me, but that's those guys, especially Brunson, Hart, those type of guys. We can't have a lot of turnovers from our point guard, okay? Brunson's stats, and it's going to sound like I'm picking on Brunson, but if you know me, some of y'all can take the emotion out of it. I'm looking at the game, okay? So Brunson scored 12 points and had 6 rebounds and 5 assists. That sounds nice, doesn't it? But to be honest with you, he sucked. Aside from the 5 turnovers, he played defense like Evan Fournier last night. I'll give you an example. It wasn't just, we already know that he has trouble staying in front of people. We already know that. But on one particular play, it was kind of endemic of what I saw last night. The ball was rebounded off a missed Knicks shot by Washington. The Knicks are getting back on defense. Most of the Knicks are back. Brunson's man, I don't know if it was Jordan Poole or if it was the other kid, but Brunson's man outruns him down the court and gets a layup. I mean, and it was very easy. It wasn't even like he had to try that hard. He outran him down the floor and got a layup. And it wasn't, I don't even think it was a fast break. I think it was off a made shot. I was very upset. As a guy that has coached, and any coach or any scout would be livid. And Tom Thibodeau was. But, this is Jalen Brunson we're talking about, our leader, right? So it's okay. But we can't have that during the course of the season. We cannot have that. So it reminded me of what I already knew, and maybe my mind started getting away from, listen, it takes Thibodeau teams 30 games to get in the flow, even with the continuity. Okay, it takes them 20, 30 games to get in the flow. Okay, that's what I was reminded of when I saw that. And Brunson is typical of that. Now, I'm expecting Brunson to be all NBA and an all-star this season. And I think as I'm looking in that media, even media is expecting that because most people will agree that he got robbed last season. But we can't keep that. No, this can't happen. Okay, this can't happen. That's problem number one. Randall, look, I can't fault Julius at all. In fact, what I liked from Julius last night, first of all, let's just say as a team, they sucked on defense. But as individuals, I liked Randall last night. Randall was doing well in picking his spots. When they came out on him on the three, he would drive past them consistently. He wasn't finishing yet, but I attribute that to, the rust, coming back. But I can see all NBA Julius coming back again and being more efficient. Now, that's the thing about Randall. We already know that Randall has physical talent on a high level, especially in the NBA. Okay, so we're talking about the 400 best basketball players on planet Earth in the NBA. And this guy, last year, some of you don't want to believe because your emotions are getting the best of you, but last year, being all NBA third team means you're one of the top 15 players in the NBA in that particular year. That's what it means. This is not subjective. This is not my opinion. It is what it is. He was all NBA. So the all NBA team is even more important than the All-Star. All-Stars voted on by the fans, but all NBA is voted on by people that know basketball. And so he's top 15 in the NBA as of last year, which is saying something. Because, again, this is the league with 400 of the best players in the world. And he's top 15 last year in that category. The thing is, a couple of things. We know he's our problem child in the sense that he can trip out the rest. Well, last night I noticed he made a concerted effort to not trip out the refs. Because there was one time, I forgot who it was, but they was bowing him in the back as he was going to the lane. And he asked for a call, and he was coming down. The second time he came down, he hit a three, but he was still complaining about that call. But he calmly went over to the ref, talked to him quietly about it, then was satisfied with the ref answer. Looked like the ref said, yeah, I messed that up. And the other ref said, no, I didn't get a good angle on it. I seen that, and he calmly took that. Then another time, the low blonde-haired ref, he walks over to her. He talks to her calmly. He hears what she says, and he just walks away. If we could get that Randall for most of this season, plus a more efficient Julius Randle, yes, there's going to be hell to pay in the NBA. I'll tell you right now, okay? Because and I like how he's approaching, ramping up. He's doing it well. He was 8 of 15 last night, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. He was -8. Most of the Knicks were -8. Negative. We'll talk about that in a second. But he did his 20 and 10, but he did it without forcing anything. I like that. I like that a lot. Mitchell Robinson is one of those players I've been saying from last week. He's ready. And again, he showed it last night. He's one of only 2 players in the starting 5 that weren't negative. Or one of 3 players that weren't negative. Brunson was at 0, but then there was +4 from Grimes, which we come to expect, and then +2 from Mitch Rob. 12 points, 11 boards, 6 on the offensive end there going. Mitch Rob's ready. Okay, Mitch Rob's ready. He's in shape. This summer, if you remember, he was putting out some Instagram posts where he was doing sprints on the track. I didn't know where it was, but I was revealed last night by the broadcast. It was in Louisiana. It's hot as hell in Louisiana in the summer. He was out there doing sprints, getting his wind up. Doing sprints was smarter than doing, let's say he was running 5 miles a day. It wouldn't have been as good as running the sprints because basketball, especially on the pro level, is more like a sprint game. You sprint and then you rest. You sprint, you rest, couple seconds, you sprint. That's how basketball is. And he seems very ready. So I'm excited about Mitchell Robinson. He put in his work last night. The rest of the team, unfortunately, wasn't with him. And then, of course, I mentioned Brunson. Brunson did not play well. He just didn't in either side. Now, he was 5 of 6 from the line. But you know what? I'm expecting that from Jalen Brunson. I'm expecting a 90% or close to 90% foul shooter. I don't want to hear nothing else less because he's that good. But 3 of 12, 5 turnovers, he knows better than that. And so that's the thing I love about Jalen Brunson. He's like Tom Thibodeau on the floor. He's just as upset as at his performance as any coach would be, and he's going to improve on that. It may take a little time, but he's going to improve on that. R.J. Barrett came to play offensively. There's no doubt he came to play offensively, but along with the rest of the team, defense sucked. And it's not the one. See, in the NBA, it's not the one-on-one defense. You got to have that too, but you got to have the team defense. You got to be on a string. And they acted like last night that they just, was in the park choosing five and then decided to play. Quentin Grimes did not shoot the ball well, but he only got 4 touches. That's it. Can't be having that. His defense, this boy was all over the floor. A couple of times, Jordan Poole, who scored 41, threw up shots over with Grimes draped on him and still hit it. That's just the league. You're going to get nights like that from dudes. You can't, that's no slight on Grimes. He played excellent defense. Him and Deuce McBride, they've shown this here preseason between them two and Mitch Rob and flashes from DiVincenzo, they've shown to be the best defenders the Knicks have. Okay. Hartenstein is ready. Hartenstein. Now the whole bench is off. Part of that, I have to say, last night was due to the absence, the second time, of Emmanuel Quickley. Emmanuel Quickley is extremely important. He is, without him, you don't have Mobb Deep. Okay, you have Mobb Deep with him and Obi, but you take Obi out, okay, but you still got IQ. You don't have Mobb Deep without IQ. So they was non-existent. The whole bench was negative last night. Everybody was negative. Okay, everybody. The bench wasn't together. And it was because they almost act like they never played together. Again, that was the theme last night. These guys act like they didn't know each other. They just came together to play. And Thibs was experimenting with different things. I thought like, for example, Evan Fournier played 14 minutes, and it was 14 minutes too much. And he was negative 14, which is normal for Evan Fournier. I thought that was a waste of time. I know they're trying to showcase him for a trade or whatever, a buyout or whatever, but I hope he doesn't do this during the course of the season. Josh Hart, again, he was out of sync. He was okay. You saw the hustle, the Charlie hustle, but they were all out of sync last night. And as I was trying to tell some of y'all, they cut Isaiah Roby yesterday. And I told you the boy he was a fringe NBA player. I told y'all that. But I was surprised at the Jalen Martin cut because of how young the boy is. But they're gone. So we're going to see this. There's one two-way spot left, and I think there's 2 regular roster spots left, maybe 3. So there's at least 3 spots left. There's a two-way spot, and there's at least 2 spots on the regular roster. Honestly, like I said, Daquan Jeffries should have one of those 2 spots at on the regular roster. I gotta figure Arcidiacono is gonna get the other one because of who he is, his relation to Brunson and Hart and the whole Villanova crew thing. With DiVincenzo, I gotta figure he's gonna get that other one, and then you gotta decide who you gonna do on the two-way, and that's between Dwayne Washington, Jacob Toppin. Those are the 2 guys. Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown shouldn't be on OG League. Charlie Brown is an NBA player like Daquan Jeffries is, and if it was up to me, Charlie Brown and Daquan Jeffries would have earned those 2 final roster spots. But again, there's a little politics involved here because Arcidiacono is a Villanova dude. You got 3 other Villanova dudes on the team. I think he'll end up sticking, not because he's better than those other 2 guys, but because of who he is. So probably, unfortunately, Charlie Brown might get cut. Dwayne Washington will probably get cut. And I think they're going to keep Jacob Toppin. Again, that's more politics also because of who he is. But I think Jacob got, some possibilities. He's got talent. He's just very, as Tom Thibodeau said, he's very raw. Very raw. He needs a lot of work. So I think Toppin should get that G League spot. And Daquan Jeffries will get one of the permanent spots, and they'll probably give the other one to Arcidiacono. And unfortunately, Charlie Brown will be the odd man out. I know Dwayne Washington getting cut because he's a point guard. You got a ton of those, and he hardly has played. So you're going to see him get cut also. Windler, I'm surprised, but Windler and Knight are both going to make the team on two-way contracts. They're already got two-way signed deals. So we'll see how this works out. But that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking DeQuan Jeffries will be one of those. Archie Diacono will be the other one. And I'm hoping Jacob Toppin goes to the G League on a two-way deal. He needs that training. So he's not ready for a regular NBA roster right now. But he can get trained very well in the Knicks organization in Westchester. So I'm looking for that. But other than that, I'm glad this game was preseason. They got a whole lot to work on defensively. Again, it kind of tempered me a little bit to understand that this team is going to take 20 to 30 games to get ready. What's good is that the opening night is against Boston. I know that sounds funny, but the Knicks play good against Boston. They just do. So, and you'll have an IQ back. Now, speaking of IQ, he didn't play last night. They say he was nicked up. I don't like that. I'll be honest with you, because of this whole contract situation. Nicked up in the preseason, IQ's always ready to play. So why isn't he playing? What I'm saying is they're trying to get this deal done. And I'm hoping they get it done because I love Deuce. I'm Deuce High. I think y'all know I've been Deuce High. But I ain't gonna front. I would miss Emmanuel Quickly, man. Emmanuel Quickly could play ball. And if he goes to some other team, the whole league's going to know as a starter about him. Maybe it's best for him, but that's next summer. Right now, I just want him to sign this deal. If he doesn't sign this deal, he's got until the 25th to sign this deal. If he doesn't sign this deal, you can forget it. He's going to be gone. Because some team is going to offer him north of $100 million, and he's going to start. Period. That's going to be how this works. Okay. Could be this Wizards team. So we're going to see how this works out. But it's going to be interesting to see. Can you imagine him and Jordan Poole sharing the backcourt? That'd be pretty daggone good. So we'll see how this works out. But I didn't like that he didn't play last night. Anyway, maybe it's nothing. Maybe he signs the deal soon. Maybe he signs the deal in the next couple of days and it'll be over, right? We'll see. But that was the game. It was a forgettable game. Like I said, I'd have turned it off in the fourth quarter once they went back up by 17. But I just wanted to see how the rest of the guys played. So we'll see what happens at this point. It's Boston next Wednesday. Opening night, going to be big time. Real excited about that. And I'm still, calling for 50 wins, 50 plus wins. This was last preseason game, but I'm also tempering expectations. Don't expect them to come out the gate strong. Okay, they're gonna take their time, but once they flow, they really gonna flow. All right. So anyway, y'all enjoy the rest of your Thursday. So.